So welcome to this meditation. So what is this moment's meditation? Well, meditation could be said to be being, but not jumping on the trains of thought. So we can't stop the thoughts. So how do we just allow the thoughts to happen? How do we allow the sensations to happen? How do we allow the breathing, everything to happen without being caught up in it, without being focused on it? Now, thinking is the biggie, the big trap for me. So I could sit in a room alone and maybe even on a meditation cushion and look all spiritual, or maybe for a few minutes or a few hours or a few days. Some people do it for a few months, a few years, and maybe they're just following the thoughts, not getting much peace. Because what can we follow if it's not objective? Well, maybe we follow the breath. That can calm us down, definitely. Maybe we can follow a mantra. That can calm us down, definitely. But we're still following something. We're still separating ourselves out from that which we are aware of. We're still doing a practice, and I'm not a great one for doing anything. When someone tells me or even invites me to do something, usually I kind of, might be something that lights me up. But, the idea of doing meditation, well, it's not everybody's cup of tea, I can say that. But it would be great if we could maybe produce something culturally for the whole society which can really help all of us, can really help our collective, our whole world. But that accounts for this fact that most people don't want to do more stuff. Most people don't want to do something that somebody tells them to do. So, but here's the thing, is it really a doing, Because if I'm doing a breath meditation, say following my breath, is it really true that I am one thing and that the following the breath is another thing? I mean, if that were true, there would be an I, a real entity here that is somehow then separate from a function that happens. But if we go inside and ask ourselves to look for each one of us, if we go inside and ask ourselves, do I find a separate entity inside this skin, inside this head, if you think that's maybe where it is? Do you find do you have real evidence, real hard evidence of an entity, No, we find consciousness, but then when we explore it, we realize that consciousness is not limited. We don't have any evidence that it's limited to what I call me. It's not housed. That's not my experience, and we have to trust our experience. So if you think that your consciousness is housed in your skin, then I would really invite you to explore whether that really is true, whether that it really is true that that's your experience. For that to be your experience, you would need to know what consciousness is. Well, that's pretty clear. Okay, consciousness, awareness is present. That's self-evident. right? And we need to know what skin is. You know, we can feel it. We can have an experience of the body. And so do I have the evidence that this consciousness that is self-evident, the I am, do I have any evidence that that is located inside anything? It doesn't even have any characteristics, really. It just is. But it clearly is. So, in this meditation, I invite us to not follow the thoughts, but also not follow anything. If we are like really, really, anxious or hyperthinky, we can follow the breath for a few moments perhaps, and this can help to calm the mind. Yeah, that's a doing. Following the breath is a doing. It can be useful, there's no question. Just like following a mantra can be useful, there's no question. But what if we don't do anything? Well, as I said earlier, the danger, if you want to call it that, is that then we inadvertently, just through force of habit, find ourselves following our thoughts. We're engaged in thinking. The cogs are connected. There is an engagement in thinking. We don't even notice when that kicks in, because it's to a certain extent it's happening all the time, which is why I'm inviting this meditation, because it can be an incredible benefit, not just for ourselves, but for our communities and everyone we engage in. Because when we break out of this fixation with our thinking and with our feeling ourselves to be separate, when we break out of that, it helps everything, and it helps everyone. But that's another story, maybe for another time, about the benefits beyond just the benefits for us. So, how do we just not follow anything? Well, we don't follow the mind, So what do we follow? Well, what we follow, we don't follow anything, but what we are is not definable. The Tao can't be defined. It can't be grabbed. It can't be written down. It's not in objective form, yet it is who we are. This is the path of recognition. But we can sit in silence, and with some practice of not following the objective world, we can sit in silence, and it's pure peace. If we find ourselves following, engaged with our thoughts or engaged in our feelings or engaged in our perceptions, one little trick is to ask ourselves, what is it that knows this experience right now? And allow the answer not to be a cognitive answer, but allow the answer to let that obsessiveness with the objective thoughts or feelings to release itself. What is it that knows this moment? What is it that's, another way of saying it is, what is it that's aware of this moment? What is it that's aware of this moment? But here's the trick, that we don't keep on asking that, because that keeps the mind engaged. And to some extent that will keep us in the sense of separation, that we have a separate consciousness, that I have a separate consciousness from everybody else. Consciousness is who I am, and it's separate from you out there. But that's not, that's just what the thinking tells us, but it's not our evidence. It's not, nobody has ever found a located consciousness. So let's just, and if we think, well, yeah, but surely it's true that I have a separate awareness, separate consciousness from everybody else. Well, let's just try it. Let's try to explore the possibility experientially that there is just one seamless, it's not even one, because one suggests that it's not two, you know. It's actually better to say it's not two, non-duality, not to Advaita, not two, not divided. Let's just try it out, you know. What is it that knows this experience right now? And allow the answer to be what it is, rather than what we think about what it is. So permissive, this wide open awareness, consciousness. It allows everything. It is made of permission. Yet it's not separate from anything. It's inherent in everything. Literally everything. So the invitation is to walk and be in this knowingness that consciousness is everything. This very consciousness that is our actual experience. This awareness that's already complete, it's not going anywhere. And is there anything that could happen that could possibly be outside of or separate from this very awareness? This experience of awareness, not what our thoughts tell us about awareness. Our thoughts will always tell us that it comes and goes, but we go to the experience. Right here, right now, this very experience of who we are. We are not the thoughts that come and go. Because if when thoughts disappeared, when thoughts disappear, we don't disappear. So stay with what we are, what you are. It's completion, it's happiness. It's what we're looking for. It's a relief of this tension of walking around thinking that we're separate from each other. We can use one simple phrase to bring us into this place, and then we can just be. That simple phrase could be, am I aware? This is what my teacher Rupa Spara invites us to do. Just one simple phrase, am I aware? And we go to the experiential answer. And we allow the release of the objective world of thoughts, feelings we allow that to have its effect. The question isn't, what am I aware of? The question is, am I aware? Maybe it's the most important question you could ever ask yourself. Maybe not, but maybe.